You guys, it's Mike White with Crystal DTF here, and I'm so excited because I'm going to show off our new actions. All right, so check this out. We've got this request. Madison's asking if I put this on a black shirt, do I need to clean this up at all? If so, would someone be able to do that? She's still new at this and trying to figure things out. Well, you don't ever want to put black on black. You just don't. I mean, for lots of reasons. Number one, the black of the shirt's not going to match the black of the print. It's just never going to happen. The print's going to be darker or the shirt's going to be darker. It's just not going to match up, so it's not going to look good. And then number two, it's going to feel like a big sticker, which I'm sure you all know. If you print a design like this, it's just going to be a big sticker. So I want to show you all in a few steps how to take something like this, use the new knockout actions that we put out. So the knockout actions, literally you're just going to get this link and you're just going to come here and download it. And so that's going to download these knockout actions. And I've got those in my downloads folder now. So there they are, the Crystal DTF knockout actions. So let me show you how to use those on this image. Okay, so first we got to get ready. And we've got a 526 by 526 image. Wow, that thing is tiny. So this whole image is about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. It's really, really small. And so we're going to need to upscale it to get started. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to pull this open in Photoshop. And I'm going to crop it because there's a ton of wasted space around the sides. And just as I stopped recording the last clip, I realized something. I think there's a typo. And, the image is so small it's hard to see. But it looks like this says Stroh with a W here. So I think it's supposed to say station. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't take care of that. And it's just so small that I don't think I can actually get away with just upscaling this. I'm going to have to use ChatGPT to re-render it. And so we're going to just kind of pray that Chat does a good job. So I'm going to call this Stroh Station OG. It's my starting point. Original gangster. All right, and here's our prompt. Recreate, and redraw this design. Isolate on white. Keep all the elements the same except one small change. The word on the top of the hat is supposed to be station, not station. That's it. Keep everything else the same. Give me a print-ready production quality file. And then we're going to tell it to create image. And we are using Pro. We're not using the free version. So it is thinking about it. And we'll see how good of a job it does. Okay, and on a computer screen, and I'm sure during this recording, you really can't see much of a difference between the first one and the last one, the new one, So I'm going to call this redrawn. But you can really see it when you pull it open, right? So when you pull it open and we put this one on the right, and then we put the one that we started with over here on the left, they're opening it at the actual sizes they are. This one is, now that it's cropped, it's only 1 inch by 1 inch. So it's about the size of a postage stamp. And this one over here is 1156 by 1361. So it's still not big enough for printing usually. It's about 4 inches wide. And a little bit less than 5 inches, 4.5 inches tall. Okay. So that's what we've got. So we're going to go ahead and upscale this. So always want to get upscaler. It's UPSCAYL, upscale.org. It's totally free. We're just going to take that image, open it up, and we don't need to go too big. I'm going to go 4x. Now, we need to know the exact size that we're going to print this at, because if we're going to halftone this, which is what I'm going to show you, how to use these new knockout actions, if we're going to halftone it for black, then we need to be able to actually print it we need to halftone it, at the exact size that we're actually going to use it, okay? So I've just upscaled it, and we're going to go find it. Here's the upscaled one. We're going to open this with Photoshop. And we are going to first take off this white background. Let me think about that. I need it to be even. I know that. So I need it to be even. And I need to come in on this. I got a little bit of problems maybe with this axe. Okay, so what I would do if this was my artwork is I would figure out how to like maybe fix this white line on the sides, right? So, you know, there's kind of a problem here. I'm going to show you how to do it. You don't have to do this step, right? This is something that I would do for my artwork, you know, is I would figure out how to kill this line right here. So, you know, just something like this is probably sufficient. You know, just a little bit of a shape, you know, something like that, just to end that white line. And you could spend hours tweaking this curve and making it just perfect. But, you know, we'll just kind of throw it down there and let it be. And, you know, I'm gonna keep it this dark color. Let's zoom in here and just make sure this lines up, bro. I talk a good game about not being perfect, and then I go make it perfect because I just can't help myself. Boop. All right, there we go. So now that's lined up. And I do the same thing on this side. So I'm just trying to slide that same curve in. I just duplicated it and I just scooted it over here. Yeah, and it's going to be fine. I mean, it's just so that that white doesn't just stop there on the edge, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to select this background. So I'm just going to click here. I'm going to unlock this. So I just used my magic wand, and I've got my tolerance at 80, and I've got contiguous checked. Okay, and then I'm just going to go in just a tiny bit because I don't want to have any white pixels on the edge. So I'm just going to hit OK on that. Okay. And I am seeing kind of the same type of effect down here, and that's bothering me now. So I think we actually want to preserve that white possibly. Yeah, the more I look at it, we really need to preserve this white right here. So I'm just going to grab this. We'll just work from right here, and we'll just come here, and then we'll just curve this on in to end. Let's just let it end right there. Let's just keep that little shine. There's just a little shine there. Okay, so now what I've effectively done is I've protected this white and protected this white. And now we're just going to, you know, click same magic wand tool. Let's just click right here. And then we're going to do that little expand, select, modify, expand. Let's just go in 1 pixel. And then we're going to select this layer and just hit delete. So that's just going to cut all that white. And then we don't need these shapes anymore. We can hit delete. And if I put this on a black background or a darker colored background, you'll see the little white that we've preserved there in the design. Okay, so now we've got something where we can just turn this off and we can trim it. So we're going to trim, and it's going to be perfectly symmetrical now. You know, it's just automated trimming. So it's exactly the same on both sides. And I'm seeing other problems with the design. Like I know these aren't centered down here. There's lots of little issues, but we're just going to let that go. And we're going to move on. All right, so let's finish this. And this is the crucial step. We're going to set the size. So let's just go ahead and set the size, image size. We're going to set the resolution to 300. I can see my dimensions are 4316 by 5054. So if I set this to 300, and then I switch this up here and I go to 12 inches, that's a 12-inch image. Now it needs to be printed exactly this size for this halftone effect to work, okay? So there's 12 inches by 14 inches. It's 3600 by 4216. My partner also worked on this image, my partner Anup, and I believe that he knocked all the black out. He took all the black out. What I'm doing is a halftone. I'm doing a halftone. So it's going to make the whole thing a little bit softer. His technique is probably better on this. I think it is better. And I know he dealt with this, all these little problems that I'm showing you all in a different way and probably a better way, okay? But this is what our new knockout actions do. So once you've got things set, so you want to make sure you've got your size exact, 12 inches at 300 DPI or 8 inches or whatever size you're having it printed at. And you're going to want to install those actions. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this group of actions. They're gone. And then I'm going to come up here and do import actions. And I've got those crystal DTF knockout actions right here. I'm just going to load those babies up. And here's the one we're going to use today. We're going to use this black knockout tweakable. So we're just going to click that action. And there's going to be a moment. Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me back up a lot. So I just had a bad effect because I had the wrong layer selected. Look, delete those layers, all right? Just have one layer, all right? And then we're gonna go click that action. Boom, all right. So this is what should happen. And what it's done is it's actually pulled this screen up, and it's going to give us an opportunity for us to preserve the image. So if we just hit OK right now, let me show you what's going to happen. So everywhere that's not white is going to get perforated, all right? So let's look at what that effect is like. This is going to still look great even without any tweaking. It's going to be a little muted, but you can see what it's done. It's half-toned. It's preserved all the pure white parts, but everything that is not white, you know, based on how gray it is, it's actually, or how black it is, really. It's actually poked holes in all those parts. So this is super soft now. Like, this is extremely soft. Now, I think this is a little bit too strong of an effect. It's just a little too much for me for this image. And that's just all a matter of personal taste. So I've just reverted everything back to right before we went. And I learned a lesson just now. You know, this is a really good time to save. It's just a good idea to save at this moment in case you need to revert. So I could have just hit File Revert, but I had to do a whole bunch of Control Z. So I just hit that black knockout. And if I drag this slider over, it's everywhere that it turns perfectly white, it's going to leave alone. Okay? So like I just literally drug it past that point, and all the red and everything is just going to be not touched at all. And the only thing that got perforated is really like those grays, right? Okay, and so now if I put a solid color behind it so we can preview it, I'm just doing a solid color. That's what it's going to look like, but that's all knocked out, and it's just perfect. So that's really it. That's the magic. I don't have much more to show you. I mean, it's literally just kind of a miracle button that you're adding to your Photoshop when you have this black knockout tweakable. All right, I'm going to link the actions in this post. All right, take care.